Unsolved Murder at the Blue Bunny Club, Camille Gordon. Camille Gordon, 23, was stabbed to death outside the Blue Bunny Club in London's Soho on 1st March 2004. Police believe her killer was an angry customer of the club, known as a clip joint because it charged people large sums of money for spending only a few minutes with its hostesses. Born in Jamaica, Camille came to the UK in 2001 and studied in Birmingham for several years before moving to London to work part-time at the club to help fund her dream of becoming a nursery school assistant. She was not involved in the sex trade, but was tasked with enticing men into the club by giving them the impression they would be able to take part in some kind of sexual activity. Shortly before the murder, she was working at the door in Archer Street when a man approached her at 6:20 p.m. and paid the £5 entry fee. After spending around 10 minutes in the club, he was handed a bill of around £375 when he tried to leave at 6:35 p.m. It was eventually agreed, following a dispute with staff, that he would pay £80. The man then left. He walked towards the junction with Rupert Street, but returned to the club shortly afterwards, only to back away with his hands raised after seeing a different member of staff at the door. Half an hour later, at 7:10 p.m., after Camille had returned to stand in the doorway, the killer, believed to be the same male customer, walked up to the club and stabbed her in the heart. She screamed and staggered down the stairs to tell her colleagues she had been stabbed in the chest. The emergency services were alerted, but she died of her injuries an hour later, despite their efforts to save her life. CCTV cameras captured a grainy image of a man running from the club towards Great Windmill Street and Shaftesbury Avenue. CCTV cameras also captured the suspect entering Piccadilly Circus tube station shortly after the murder. He was described as black, aged 20 to 25, and between 5 feet 5 and 5 feet 8 inches tall. He was wearing a dark jacket with a large Cleveland Indians logo on the front, dark jeans, white trainers, and a hat believed to be a baseball cap. During subsequent police appeals, Detective Andy Mortimer said, "Camille appears to have been deliberately targeted by a customer who was angry about having been ripped off." The detective described clip joints as a massive loophole at the time because they were legitimate businesses that do not serve alcohol or provide sex shows and have terms and conditions posted on the wall. D.I. Mortimer said Camille was one of many girls employed to stand on the street outside the clubs. These girls are drawn into working at the clip clubs because they can make a lot of money very quickly. One of our theories is that Camille was working at the Blue Bunny to fund her teaching course. Camille's mother told the Evening Standard that her daughter was a wonderful, happy, upbeat kind of person who loved to dance and made so many people happy. The family said they wanted to make sure that clip joints would be closed down for good, adding, "We are worried that other men will do the same thing, and more girls will be murdered." In 2007, clip joints were reclassified as sex establishments under the London Local Authorities Act, and by September that year, the number of clubs operating in the area had been reduced from 8 to 2. During a renewed police appeal in 2024, following the 20th anniversary of the murder, the Metropolitan Police offered a £20,000 reward for information and issued previously unreleased CCTV images and video. Detectives also appealed for a potential witness to get in touch. 2 days after the murder, on 3rd March 2001, a man attended Kennington Police Station and asked to speak to a detective about a murder at the Blue Bunny Club. However, he left before the CID officer got there and he never returned. He was described as white, about 35 years old, about 5 feet 8 inches tall, of skinny build with defined cheekbones and light brown hair. Anyone with information is asked to call the incident room on 020 8785 8267.